We use Moodle, which is the Learning Management System, or the LMS as it's often referred to. And what this does is this controls your learning and your users. And so we can look at it in a couple of ways. It can be looked at in terms of controlling those people and determining what materials they can actually have access to. So you'll have access to a large number of materials, but you might not want everybody to have access to everything. From a licensing perspective, then they can. And also we find within the industry that there are very few organisations that will come to us and say, we've got a real problem here where too many people are doing too much learning. That's not normally the case. And so we've licensed the materials in a way that if everybody wants to access them, they can do. But you might start building materials into personal development plans and looking at where individuals are. So you might want to limit what materials they can go to and have access to. And that is something that the LMS is very good at. And so think of that very much as the front-end control. You can access who can do what and when they do it. But also you can pull off reports and pull off records so you can actually see what people have done. And I think the danger to begin with is, there's too much data available. And one of the common problems that we see with some organisations is they get bogged down in too much detail. And so in the early days of launching and using this type of technology, this type of learning, I think it's very important to sit down and think about what will success look like in the future. And we work with Towards Maturity, and they run a benchmark across the use of technology-based learning across the world, actually. And we've engaged with them so we can look at it specifically within the charity sector. And so it's always a good place to start to benchmark against other people within the sector, maybe other industries, and then look at where you are now, where you want to get to in 12 months, in 24 months, in 36 months. And so you can actually see, how and whether or not you're being successful, and whether you need to start realigning or changing your strategy moving forwards. Sometimes, we can get bogged down in the technology and bogged down in this data. So it's very important to have a good feel for what it is that we want to achieve. And it could be number of people the number of people actually going through a certain number of courses. It might be aligned to, as I said before, to PDPs. There could be maybe some health and safety materials that it's mandatory that people have to go through that. So you need to be able to pull out reports. And so also think of the LMS as a big filing cabinet, an electronic filing cabinet, where you can then start extracting this data just to make sure that people have done what you want them to do. And those are the sort of conversations that we can have with you individually or as an organisation to see what it is that you're trying to achieve.